just want to touch on a few things about how you use this app as a dispatcher. When you first log into the screen, you're going to see this screen display, which is your dashboard. If you go into the top left corner, you'll also see your drop down where you can enter previous load information or BOL or PO numbers. The other things that you have access to are also listed. On your dashboard screen at the top, you can get a really quick glance at your income from the month for the loads that you've run. You also see your load activity report. And what you're going to get here is the last 3 loads that you have done for the month. If you select a load number, you'll also be taken to the load that has been saved. And we'll get to this a little bit later in the video. These 3 previous loads that you see here, you'll notice that the dates are August the 30th and August the 31st. Well, today's September the 1st, so we haven't run any new loads. You'll see that the loads now are totaling 0. But after we do the example, I'll come back to the dashboard and you'll see that this loads total will update. That's the same for your earned income for this month. It's displaying 0 now, but after we enter the load information, it will update here as well. If you click on the map, you'll be taken to this screen where you can actually look at the weather for a specific lane. So let's say that you want to see what's happening with the weather from Chicago to Phoenix. I'm just going to enter both the origin and destination. And you'll see that the app is actually processing the weather info for that lane. You'll see that you'll have some options on your weather radar, and I won't go through all of them, but you can select different views of the weather. I'll select temperature, and you'll see now that you're able to see the weather across across the country, as well as you'll see that there's some icons that are giving you some specifics about this actual lane that you're running. You'll also notice from the dashboard screen that you can click on the news. You'll be taken here where you can keep up to date on some industry news. At the bottom, you'll see your national diesel prices and your national gas prices. These update on a weekly basis. Now let's go ahead and get to entering a load. You're going to click your money screen, and let's say that you are running a load from Chicago to Phoenix. If you have a PO number or BOL number, you see you're able to enter that information. You can also enter your driver's name first and last if need be. But we're going to click on the icon in the destination. And I am going to select Chicago. That's our origin. And then I'll also select Phoenix for our destination. You'll notice that the cities populate. We're going to select them. And now the miles from Chicago to Phoenix actually are calculating. You'll see in this example, it says 1,752 miles. Once we select the back button, we're now at our main input screen. At this point, if you have any additional pickups or drops, you can add them here by simply selecting the pickup or the drop. The app will calculate your additional miles for the extra pickups and or drops. You'll notice that you see that to get from Chicago to Phoenix is going to take 2 days and 38 minutes. This is your estimated HOS. You're going to scroll through, and let's say that we are at one of the load boards and we're looking at the average line haul. So for this example, let's say the average line haul rate is $5,193 for the load. And let's say that the posted load board rate is $4,800. We would enter that information there. Now, if you have a multiple pickup fee, you can enter that, or if this is a team drive rate, you can enter that. You'll also see on this screen that there is a field for your deadhead miles. So let's say that your driver is not quite in Chicago and he is going to go to Chicago. You'll see that your deadhead miles will also calculate, and in this example it's 167. So that 167 will automatically populate. Let's say that you know the exact amount of the deadhead miles, you can enter that as well. If you have any tolls or miscellaneous expenses, you would enter those. Now I'm simply going to select calculate. So to attach your BOL numbers, rate confirmations, or receipts, you can simply go to your load input and select the paperclip. And you'll select the paperclip again, and then you can attach your documents to any particular load. You would simply just select the label, and you can select a file or a photo, and then you select your back button and it takes you back to your load input screen. From there, I'm going to select continue, and now we move to our fuel. In this particular example, let's say that we are going to actually run a flatbed, and you see that you can select your different equipment types. You'll notice that your fuel cost is pulling in, and you're actually going to get your fuel for the load for those miles. From this screen, you're simply going to select continue. Now you're on the negotiation screen, and if you had multiple pickups or team drive rates, tolls, all of that would populate here for you. And you'll see that the estimated broker fee is 18%. Or $864. So we are estimating that the broker that we are negotiating with has 18% in the load, or $864. Let's say you think that the broker has 25% in the load instead of that 18%. You're simply going to type in 25%. Then you're going to turn on your lock-in percentage and select calculate. You now see that 25% is an estimated amount of $1,200 that we think the broker has in the load. Now you want some of that $1,200. Let's say that you want $500 of that $1,200. We're going to simply type in 500. You're going to turn off your lock-in percentage and then select calculate. You'll now see that your broker earnings decreased by $500. Your negotiated percentage increase is now 10%, and the broker fee, or estimated broker fee, is approximately 15%. So let's say that now we're just going to go back to our original default status. You're just going to clear everything out. You're going to enter the 18% for your broker. You're going to turn on your lock-in percentage, select calculate, and you'll see now that the 18% is displaying in your original $864. Just remember that you have to turn off your lock-in percentage. You'll also see that your average line haul rate is $5,193 and your posted load board rate is $4,800, with your actual carrier earnings being $4,800. Now, let's say that we want some more money for our carrier. What we're going to look at is that $864. We want some more money from that broker. So let's say that we would like to ask the broker for an additional $300. We would simply type in 300 here, select the calculate button, and now you'll see that the broker fee has gone down to 12%, but you have now negotiated a 6% increase, with which actually could be your fee that you're charging for your carrier. Now, if you go down to the bottom of your screen, you'll see that the actual carrier earnings is now $5,100 because you've negotiated that $300 additional. If you charge a 5% fee, you see your total earnings at the bottom is $255. And let's say that you're happy with the numbers. We're simply going to select continue from here. The next page is an important page for you. This is your money page. You'll notice at the top, if you charge a 5% dispatch fee, you'll make $255 for this load. You'll also see that the carrier percentage increase is 6%. What this means is that you've negotiated 6% increase above what the original offer rate was, or the original posted load board rate is. This is important information for you to share with your carrier. If you go down to the bottom of your screen, you'll also see your net rate for your carrier, along with your total fuel for the load. And you also see that your deadhead fuel cost also shows as well. This report is a great tool for you to use to share with your carrier. You would simply select share, and your carrier would now receive all of this information here, and they would see that you negotiated a 6% higher increase. At this point, we're going to save this load. This load now will display on your overhead report screen. And in your overhead report, if you look at September, you'll see that your monthly income is $255. Now, in this example, your monthly expenses were $583. So that negative $328.33 just shows how many more loads you need to run before you're actually in a profit. Now, I told you once we entered this load, when we went back to the dashboard screen, you would now see that the loads this month are showing 1. That's because you've saved a load to the app. You'll also see that the monies that you've earned are $255. This is one way for you to actually enter a load and run rates for your customers. At the bottom of your screen, you have a couple of other tools that you can use quickly when you're on the phone with brokers or with carriers. It's your quick hit button. Your quick hit button allows you to enter your total line haul miles, pretty quickly. And if you have your rate per mile, you can enter that as well. And you can get a very quick total of what that line haul rate would be. You can use this tool without having to go into the load input and go through the steps for entering the full load. Let's say that you're trying to determine how long it's going to take for your carrier to get from point A to point B, because maybe you're trying to book a backhaul for them. So you can click on your time crunch and you can put in your starting location of Chicago. You can put in your destination of Phoenix. You can enter a date that they're picking up from Chicago, and then you can simply calculate. Now, if it's not today is September the 1st. Let's say that they're going to be picking up on September the 2nd, tomorrow. You're able to change that date if need be. You'll see once you select calculate that your arrival date now populates, as well as your estimated HOS shows as well. So your time crunch is a very quick feature that you can use to determine backhaul pickups for your carriers. Your overhead report is basically a tool that's for you. This is where you can determine if your business is profiting for the month. Red and yellow shows how close you are from break even. Green shows that you have broken even for the month. You'll notice in August, the monthly break even is green. Let's say you need to update your monthly expenses. Well, let me just back up a bit. When you first set up your app, you're going to have the opportunity to set up your monthly expenses. But let's say along the way, you make some changes and you need to update this information. From your overhead report, you'll go to the bottom and select Update. You'll notice at the top of the screen that your total monthly expenses are there as well as your annual. In the fields below, this is where you're going to enter your annual fees for the year. The app will automatically convert that to monthly. So let's say that we purchased a computer that was $2,500. Let's say that our banking fees are maybe $120 for the year. Let's say that we spent $500 on marketing. Let's say that our load board fees are maybe $500. You paid maybe $1,200 for your internet, and maybe your fees for your license renewals are $100. You would enter your annual fees here and then select Continue. Now, this is where you decide the percentage of your earnings that you want to apply towards each load. So let's say that every time you run a load and that you receive pay, you want to apply 50% of that towards your expenses. You would select 50% here, then apply. Now you'll notice that your monthly expenses update in this middle tab. And this is a quick overview of how you can use this powerful app as a dispatcher.